And at that time the Lord said to me, hew these 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. So this is the description of the building of the ark. And the Ark of the Covenant has 2 different parts where it's described as being made. And this one is the one that's made by Moses himself. And then he goes up to the mountain for 40 days with it. And I write on the tables the words that are in the first tables, which thou breaks, and thou shalt put them in the ark. And I made an ark of shittim wood, and hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first. So the first being the tablets he had broken when he came down from the mountain and saw them worshipping a calf. And went up into the mountain, having 2 tables in my hand, and he wrote on the tables according to the first writing the 10 commandments, which the Lord spoke unto you in the mount out of the midst of fire in the day of the assembly. The Lord gave them unto me. So this is the building of the ark. So this is the building of the ark, and God gave those commandments to Moses. He fulfilled them, and then the ark was given to the people of Israel. And in the documentary about the black Jews, it speaks about how this ark was later on taken to Zimbabwe. So I'm going to read about the ruling tribe at the time when this ark was in the land. So this is following from the 12 tribes of Israel, which all had their symbols. This is not a tribe of Israel in the strict sense, in the sense of the 12 tribes of Israel. However, this is important because this is where the Ark of the Covenant really physically, literally was. And this is the ark that was made of wood. And the other ark, which was made of gold, which I believe was there to give people, like, it was all like in God's wisdom in order to make it very, very obscure. Because as we speak, as I write this, like as I read this, not a lot of people know about the ark, the original, the first ark, which Moses himself made, which is very, very much of a big deal. Because when you look at Moses' life, like, he was supposed to be, he was supposed to have been like the leader, the ruler in the promised land, to an extent that the devil wanted his body because it had so much power. But no one knows what happened to his staff, the one that he used to part the Red Sea. No one knows what happened to anything, like even his body. An angel, no, the archangel had to come and fight the devil for Moses' body. So it's very important that he actually made an ark which literally, physically was in a certain place. But then the story has been so obscured that people don't even know it exists. And little do they know that it exists in Zimbabwe, which was a kingdom. So this kingdom was built with different mazes. So the mazes were supposed to be amazing, and there were mazes in order to hide the ark. So even today, people don't know that it was even in that place, or where it was, or how it was. So I'm going to read this. This is Mutupo or Totem, which are used to identify the different clans that make up different lineages. So this is following from the understanding of the 12 tribes, which all had their symbols. So the symbol for this one is this heart over here. So this heart is called Moyondizvo. Moyo means heart, and Dijo means righteous, or right, correct. So this is the ruling class which were in this area, which is Zimbabwe. And when we went through that documentary, we were speaking about the Venda tribe and the Lemba tribe. And when we look into the actual practical history, we discover that these were the tribes which were the forefathers of this clan, which was in Mapungubwe. So when they excavated Mapungubwe, they found out that the tribes were actually from the Lemba, the Vendas, and this is where we get the kingdom and the kingship of this tribe, which were hiding the ark in a maze because they were the kings at the time and they were the ones who were controlling what was happening. So the mutupo of each clan is inherited by all descendants of that family. Usually symbols such as animal names or organs of human beings are used to represent the totem. So this is just the same as the 12 tribes, which have different symbols. For example, Jesus is the Lion of Judah, and that's his tribe, his totem. And also the lamb is also called the lamb. So the heart is important because heart is actually an anagram for earth, as in if you rearrange the letters for heart, you get earth. Just like silent is listen, because if you're listening, you have to be silent. If you rearrange the letters of silent, you get listen. So heart is earth. So these were the rulers of the earth. So these provide the social identity of the clan. Every Shona clan is identified. So Shona has very, very close roots and ties with Shem. Okay, but that's a whole other video. Okay, and each Mutupo has praise poetry. So in this, I'm just going to be focusing on that poem, and that poem is a psalm. Okay, this is a speech that is attached to a particular totem and is usually used when one is praising or thanking a person of that totem. Totems are popular among the Shona people as they unite and identify people by their origins. So this is from a blog that I found, which is here, sunshineneck.wordpress.com, so you can check it out, and it's so it goes on to some other things that happen. This fish is like certain people don't eat certain animals if that is their totem. Anyway, so I'm gonna read the actual poem. So at this particular part and juncture, I'm going to be literally speaking in tongues. If you don't understand this, a tongue is a language. So I'm going to be speaking this language, and I'll try my best to just annotate, because with tongues are given to the church so that they can edify the church. And if someone just walks into a church and everyone is speaking in, let's say, Aramaic, and you don't understand it, then you're just going to walk out because you don't understand it. But then tongues are supposed to be aided with interpretation. So if you know this tongue and you know the interpretation, it's very good that you can just help to interpret this very profound poem. And so it starts Hekani Sahai Dewa Moyondizvo. Moyondizvo is the name of the clan. Dewa is Chidao, which is something that is used to represent the person of this clan. So these were the kings at the time. So Wakami Mukaka. So they have milk, because this clan is also represented with the cow, which is very closely represented with Joseph. When they went to Egypt, Joseph told them that they are supposed to come and become more of farmers, and tell them that you have a lot of cows, and then the cows is how they were actually able to get into Egypt, or according to Joseph as he told them. So they came with a lot of cows. So that is also like how they would have been represented in that time in Egypt. So don't get it twisted. I'm saying that in Egypt, Joseph told his family that in order for them to live in peace, the Israelites, in order to live in peace and harmony, they have to come with the symbol of the cow, so that they would be able to be accepted. So now the cow was later on taken and worshipped because it represents wealth. Cow is cattle, with its chattel, which is capital, which is where we get capitalism, which is why it's the bull on Wall Street. So there is a lot of like I was gonna say bullshit that is associated with it. So yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot more that goes to it, but then it actually comes from money, mammon, which is from the cows, which is capital, and this is how we got to where we are, because cows ended up being money, and money ended up being what everybody wanted. So at a certain point in time, cattle and cows were very much needed by people who just wanted money and power, and then the cows were a representative and the symbol of that. So cows are literally how the clan, the Moyondizvo clan, is actually also symbolized as, although they are the heart. So that is also speaking of the heart of whatever situation or thing that it is, which is a whole profound topic. And if you'd like me to talk more about cows, I will talk about. But I think I have a video called "Holy Cow," but that one is about other things, which is a cow is so important because even the different tribes in Asia, they were like revere cows because of the importance of cows. And like yeah, so so yeah. But anyway, so it says vakami mukaka, which comes from cows. So it's going to be very more it's going to be explained more because at the time the people who were ruling this place where the ark was hidden were also people who had a lot of cattle. So just pay attention to that. So hekanisaide wa Moyondizvo vakami vomukaka bvumavaranda. But they accept people from outside. Vakadzi vachiza vomene Zimbabwe riri pwete pwete. So this is now referring to Great Zimbabwe, how it's built, and rupwete pwete is just large and stretching. Variurozvi nhandare sai mondoro. So mondoro is what is mondoro is a lion. So the same way that they are lion and heart, their lion heart, righteous heart, is the same way that their lion heart and cow, because there's no other totem besides this one that represents this cow. But they are mondoro, which is lion, and they're also cow in a sense. And this is the same thing, like Jesus is lion and lamb of God. So you can actually have this. So there are also other totems in this country where these amazing mazes were, which is something like, for example, they could be. I know that the elephant is also represented as this other animal that is also obscure. So it's like a small little animal, but or a unicorn. I think it's a unicorn, just like the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, so I'm not going to get into that unless if it's pertinent, and then I'll make another video specifically on the other tribes and totems. But so some of these terms in this poem are very, very hard for me to dissect, so forgive me for that. I'll just tell you what I know. So Vari Urojin, and if you do know, please help to interpret, because I'm speaking in tongues here. So I feel like if you can help to interpret, then it would be interesting for all of us to just know what this poem's about. So Vari Urojin Nandare Sahai Mondoro Jengeta Nika, the one who protects the country, and then Nika is actually the world. Because the whole concept that the people had in this place who lived in Ubuntu, which is do unto others as you want them to do unto you, is that they were able to, they didn't have ownership, but they had a collectivism, which was great because they didn't have any people who were bad. Everyone was great, and everyone did what everyone was supposed to do. But they just regarded the world as their own. In the sense that there is no Shona word for country. So we say Nika, and then Nika just means world. So Nika Dese, and like, so yeah, it's just how it is. Sahai Mundoro Jegeta Nika, Mwene is child, son, S-U-N, son, S-O-N. So this is where we get Mwene Mutapa. So Mwene is the light, which is where we get Mwenje, which is the light, so the light of the people. Vachiru chamafunde manji, vachirisa muru, muzinda wengombe. Muzinda wengombe is that whole, like the kingdom of the cow. Gorokotera, like look around, chiri mudanga, it's in the, like, danga is the way, the cow, the way you keep the cows. And then bachirashwa, meaning that they don't want to lose nothing. Okachuma chamambo, chamachira chinosakara, mufudze wanyangombe. Chiwanza mukaka, chipuriro chamafuta, vachisiya ndanyara, vachisiya ndanyare, vari manyanga, vane mudzi unobva mapazuva uchinobaya rupango. So gorokotera chiri mudanga, I look around, it's in the crown. Dabachirashwa isn't refuse anything to be lost. Wakachuma chamambo. So their crowns were as big as like a necklace, just stretching around. Chamachira chino sakara. So their clothes would get like worn out because they would be hard at work. Which means that they would be the ones who are actually herding the cattle. Chiwanza mkaka, which means they had a lot of milk, a lot of flow, Chipuriro chamafuta, wachisia danyara, only stop when he's really tired. Varimanyanga, manyanga are the horns of the cow, and this horn of the cow is very important because when you read the Bible, God speaks about his horn of salvation, and the altars had horns. So it's interesting to note that, well, certain animals have horns, including the cow. So this is something that's going to come up, I'm pretty sure, in the upcoming videos when I speak about something that is really, really profound. So, and then I will speak about that when I have the words to articulate it. It is very, very controversial and rather unexpected. But, well, I'll give you a heads up, it's about Put, okay? But it's about the energy of Put, which is the energy of Put. There's a certain energy Put has. Varimanyanga vane mudzi unobva mumabvazuva uchinobva rupango, they came from the east. Vakapera nhenda muZimbabwe vachaona mudongo. So they left the houses in Zimbabwe. And then the people are going to see the ruins. Vagadziva ushe, meaning that they crown kings. Mutu no kope chirimo, the tree which has fruit, and then it will give you what is within the tree. All year round you're just eating. Uraramananga. They have proverbs. Zimbabwe is talking about Zimbabwe. So I believe that this is also speaking about how they had knowledge of astrology, because in the Psychologica Britannica, it speaks about how they used to observe the new moon, and then moon is also about the African creation story, that they believe that people came from the moon. Moon is where we get Munu, and moon is associated with money. But I believe that Mama Takaringa Widika and Meshiringa Pasi is talking literally about how the kings, like literally, used to live on the mountains, and then their families were like at the base of the mountain. So they used to look up while they had people, trusted people, who were looking everywhere else. Or in Jigembeu, I believe this is a pun, because there was an actual king called Jigembeu, and then Kurima Kwakona. So this is Jigembeu Kurima Kwakona. They will eat the seeds if they don't get the chance to plant them. So I believe that this is a pun. Mutengeni wazvozovenga mambo usitandavare kutandavara mvura inobva muvumbi vazvikweche zvinonongwa nevamindukira. So they are very shiny and have a lot of interesting trinkets. Asina kuvidukira anowana zvapera zvaenda nemwando. So if you're smart, you're going to catch what they have to give, like all of that shikweche, like the coinage, the glory, like all of these different things. So kuvindukira is when you're adaptable, nimble, and then you catch what they gotta give. But if you don't, then you see it gone because it's in high demand. Ekani nandari mufudze ari mudanga. Alright, so herding the cattle while you're in the kraal. Okabashi vanyoka ishoshwe, or vanyoka ishoshwe, and then so they don't play around with snakes. Vedombo rakakona chimango ne marangadya vamaturura mvura. So maturura mvura is like the rain falling down. So they make the rain fall. So this is also in Isaiah 45, God is saying like, hey, I am the one who makes the rain rain. So rain, R-A-I-N, is from the people who R-E-I-G-N, the people who reign, make it rain. So that is Vamature na Mvura. Zienda vachisiya nyam. So they'll go, but they'll leave something. Nyamtura zvose, they will take everything. And nyama tinodya, mafuta tinozora, mukaka tinonwa nekusevesa sadza. So this is also about the cattle. Debwe tinowarira, cattle. Nyanga igona mombe, cattle. This is speaking about the horns. So nyamtora zvese, nyama tinodya, nyama, meat, we eat. Mafuta tinozora, which is the fat. They will use that, and that was also used a lot in terms of the fat of it's in the Bible, in the Torah, where God is saying, like, I want when you sacrifice the sheep or anything, you should bring the fattened one, So that fat, mafuta tinozora, mukaka tinonwa, which is the milk we drink, to eat the mini meal with, okay, and then even the hide. So you'd find out like the priests were also with hide skins in the Bible, so of certain animals, okay. Nyanga igona mombe, so that horn again is gona mombe, that big horn. Ndove tinodzorera mumba muswe ude nawo aiwa tatenda varidzi venyika zvaitwa sahai muzinda wepasi changamire. So so this whole poem is a very interesting poem. So it has a lot of applications, but then the reason why it was put in my heart to share it is because I believe that this is an interesting symbol which links us to the understanding of the elders, in the sense that they are like I've once spoken about the forefathers, the four meaning that it is ahead, and 4 is ahead, and 4 is also behind, like before, and then forward, so it's ahead and behind. So this is also just a map that leads us ahead and behind. And okay, I see that this video has gone longer than I ever imagined, so I'm going to leave it at this, and I just say that with this knowledge of this poem, I just hope that there is some edification that can happen in order to be linked to the power of God, which is hidden in where these people ruled with their righteous hearts, because that's what they were actually symbolized as, okay, righteous hearted, and which reminds me of David, the man after God's heart, okay, trying to be righteous, and so on. So I thank you so much for taking the time, and I will be updating you with some more of the righteous heartedness of these people and many others. So thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.